Ever since childhood, I've been fascinated by the idea of having superhuman abilities. But just because I'm a fan of Spider-Man doesn't mean I'm going to grow up and become a superhero, does it? Actually, I believe once you have seen this video, you too will believe that having superhuman abilities is indeed possible.
Out of all the superhumans I've investigated, this next man claims to have a power that just seems impossible.
Telekinesis is basically the ability to move objects without the use of a touch.
Guy Bavali says he has the power to warp, distort, and move objects with simply the power of his mind.
The mind is more powerful than what you think. So you have to believe in yourself. If you believe, you can reach and grab it.
I want to find out if his claims are real and see if he really fits into Stan's superhuman league.
I've actually heard you have telekinetic powers. Is that true?
Well, that's what I'm here for, right?
So
figure it out.
so tell me about it. When did you discover you had these powers?
I always wanted to do things that other people cannot. And slowly but surely, I started to practice all kind of telekinesis or other forms of movement, mind power, etc.
So what kind of things can you do with telekinesis?
For example, a spoon. Just a regular spoon. Now watch this. Put your hand on top, just like that, okay? And just, but touching, it's just moving your hand, you create an energy, and then it starts to move like that, you see? Just like that.
So what's going on? There's no wires wrapped around this? How's that? All right, you're stumping me here. You're stumping me. What did I just see?
What you saw was a form of telekinesis, or what other people perceive as a telekinesis. You take all the senses that you have, you put them together in the right way, and you can create the sixth, maybe even the seventh sense.
You're saying that the sixth sense is a combination of everything we do.
My personal opinion, yes.
But it's just so hard for me to believe what's happening. Let me see him. I want to see him first. Before you hand him to him. Right. Do you know him? Are you guys buddies or something? No.
Just touch it for a second. Touch.
The reason why I'm having such a hard time believing what I'm saying is because, this has always been in the realm of like a magician or something, I have to think that this is trickery.
Guy's ability is certainly baffling. It's time to play things by my rules. So I'm taking him to a hardware store he's never seen before. And I will choose the objects myself.
So now we're on my turf, so I really want to find where your capabilities lie. All right, so this is spoon-like. It's made out of metal. It's got some straight edges, a little bend to it. Mm-hmm. So let's see what you can do with this.
I don't know.
That it?
Let's check. Just try. Phil.
All right. Although that was amazing, and it seemed from my eyes that you made the object moving without touching it, you were still moving your hands.
Sure.
I've only seen Guy use metal objects so far. I want him to prove he's not using magnets.
How much convincing would you want to be?
You gotta convince me somehow.
Watch this.
Okay.
Paint.
Okay. Paint star.
Wood, yeah. Okay. Put it here. Just balance it. See, now, I think, it's kind of balanced. Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, see, that was different than all the other stuff because you were pushing it, your other hand was gone.
The paint stir definitely wasn't metal. which cancels out any idea of magnetism.
I have no idea what's going on, so I need to explore every avenue available.
Okay.
I've seen spoon benders before, but Guy says he does it for real. Magicians supposedly use heat to do it, so I want him to bend a key while I monitor heat levels with an infrared camera.
Okay, I'm focused.
There's no unusual heat, but the key is already starting to bend.
Focus now on that area. Are you able to hold the camera and give me one hand? And still...
If we keep the key in the exact same position,
Like
you
this?
can't be moving the key around because I can't focus.
Okay, like this?
Yes.
Okay. Can you close your hand and I'll try to put the heat through my hand.
There's still nothing out of the ordinary on the infrared camera.
Tell me if you feel something.
I feel your hands touching me.
Slowly but surely, I hope. Okay. Take your hand.
Okay. Okay. So you put this in my hand. All right, I am confused.
I've watched Guy closely, and it's clear there aren't any strings or abnormal heat. So I found no evidence of trickery.
I'm at a loss. I have no idea where to go with this. This is not possible. Now I want to find out what's going on inside your mind when you do these. I need some scientific proof of what you're doing is real.
I'm taking Guy to a neuropsychologist who will look at his inner brain workings and find out if he's truly superhuman.
Something that is actually scary, bizarre, which I've never seen in people.
This machine doesn't lie.
In the Cold War, telekinesis was investigated when a Russian woman used her mind to move objects. No answers were found, but I'm here to investigate Guy Bavli's claim to possess this power. I've already seen him move objects and bend metal. I've scrutinized how he does it, but still found nothing.
This is not possible.
Now, to look deep into the inner workings of his brains, I brought Guy to meet neuropsychologist Bill Scott.
Whenever our neurons are firing, they create signals that are detectable on the surface of the scalp.
Bill will measure the brain activity with an EEG, an advanced piece of equipment that will amplify electrical frequencies released from Guy's brain.
I'm curious about Guys to see what might be happening from a baseline condition of him not doing anything to when he's performing his skill. Every state that we experience, there's brainwaves that are involved in them. A state of telekinesis is one that I've personally not looked at before.
Sounds like an open brain surgery to me.
Yeah, without the knives.
Yeah.
Before connecting Guy up for the final test, I want him to show Bill what he can do and see if he can see something I've missed.
Put both of your hands just like that. Now tell me the truth. And Bill, you can see here. Your job is to count how many times you felt or you feel that I touch you. Close your eyes. Okay, close your eyes. Excellent. And you're gonna watch here, Bill.
Yeah.
Okay, it's very important. Now I'm gonna touch your hand a few times and just count with your heart how many times you feel that I'm touching you. It's very important that you, exactly, just how many times you feel, touch, exactly. One here, one there, and that's about it. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Okay. Open your eyes.
Okay.
Daniel, tell me the truth. How many times you felt that I touched your hand?
6 times.
6 times.
Yes.
It didn't appear to at all, actually.
I never touched you. In numbers?
Yeah, I'd say 0.
0. Never touched you.
So what's going on here?
You felt it.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't see it.
Yeah.
He was here.
Right.
100%.
Yeah.
Like, was he moving your hands back and forth like this?
Yeah.
Like that's what was happening?
Yeah. Just like that.
Is this exactly what happened?
That was exactly it, yeah.
I mean, I honestly felt it.
Yeah.
I really felt it.
Yeah.
Were you impressed by the demonstration?
It was amazing. Yeah, it was absolutely amazing. I've never seen anything like it. I'd like to see him actually move something with his mind.
I've seen Guy move many different objects.
Please close your eyes. Okay, close your eyes.
And he's demonstrated his ability several times to the doctor.
I felt 2 touches right here.
Wow, that's incredible. He touched me with it on my nose, and you apparently felt it.
Okay, and there's nothing in front of my face?
No, he never even got close to you.
If he really does use his mind, he's surely superhuman. But we haven't looked under scientific testing. Will the EEG machine show anything superhuman in Guy's brain frequencies?
Basically, I'll do any kind of movement with it whatsoever.
All right, no wires are attached?
No, no.
Well, see, what you did is so unbelievable, I can't believe it myself. Like, I saw it right in front of my eyes, and it's just unexplainable. You're a scientist. I mean, how can you explain what just happened?
I really can't.
Guy's brain activity when he's doing nothing is completely normal. But Bill measured Guy's brain gamma waves during the pen move and found some astounding results.
Something that is actually scary, bizarre, which I've never seen in people. The point that the pen first moved, he had this very large burst of gamma activity.
So he really is actually doing something odd with his brain.
The gamma waves could be the answer to Guy's powers.
Absolutely. That is about over twice as high as someone would have if they were having a seizure.
Well, see, that's amazing because the peak isn't just anywhere. It's at the exact moment that the pen moved.
I've never seen anything like it.
Do you believe you just saw telekinesis? Are you a believer?
Yeah, I could not explain that.
I wasn't sure then. I was still skeptical, but when your hands were back and the entire thing flipped in, I'm sold.
The data suggests that Guy Buckley does possess some kind of power, but sometimes we just cannot explain what we see.
Extraordinary stories of a Russian housewife began to filter through the Iron Curtain in the 60s. "33-year-old Nina Kulagina claimed psychokinetic powers. Her husband filmed her first attempts, and scientists have been arguing ever since. Over 40 international scientists were called in to examine Kulagina under controlled conditions. They claimed there was no rational explanation for her mysterious powers, but modern scientists are skeptical. French parapsychologist Mario Vavoglis.
She was attacked many times by skeptics, Russian and otherwise, but I don't know of any legitimate, good critiques of her work. So if that does not exist, if there are no good critiques, then the phenomena that seem to produce are quite impressive.
In 1967, the unforgiving cameras were again focused on her, this time by a Russian team. Even in close-up, it's hard to see how she's making the box shift across the table, but it certainly is moving. Russian physicist Leonid Ryzhkov was present and observed her closely.
Человек People who perform these kind of acts are under an enormous physical pressure. The veins of Kulagina were swollen. She started to sweat. And if she was lifting a heavy item, she really had to make an effort to achieve this.
Dr. Rishkov and his team built an airtight glass box for the experiments. This was to prevent any possibility of her using magnets or an electrostatic charge, or even blowing objects with her breath. Again, the results were startling.
Kulagina could move the matches as if a wind had pushed them. She didn't feel too well that day and did not want to experiment with larger objects. But through the glass box, any form of physical manipulation would have been impossible.
Whatever else was happening, it was clear Kulagina was using enormous amounts of energy during the sessions. She lost weight. She complained of headaches. During one PK test, her pulse rate soared to over 200 beats a minute. Her brain activity registered 4 times normal level. Usually she only gave sessions after many hours of careful preparation, which made some critics suspicious. But one day she was caught off guard. In 1974, 2 German scientists paid her a surprise visit. Psychologist Jürgen Keil from the University of Tasmania was one of them.
Als wir dorthin kamen, war sie zunächst etwas zögernd, aber als sie dann erfuhr, dass überhaupt niemand etwas von dieser...
When we arrived, she hesitated a bit, but when she heard that nobody knew of the whole thing, she was very friendly and invited us to come in and invited us to stay to have dinner with her. And she even started to move things while we were still eating.
Wie wir noch sozusagen beim Abendessen waren.
Kyle filmed Kulagina at work in her own home. How did she do it?
I first met him in the early 80s in a Chinatown of urban Java. He didn't want his real name or address revealed, so we called him DJ for Dynamo Jack. He was only a healer, he said, but he did direct a powerful energy generated from his own body into his patients. Sometimes he used the needles, sometimes just his hands. He called the energy Qi, and it was so strong that he usually needed a grounder to hold his patients' feet. For years we followed him around Java on his healing rounds, pleading to be allowed to film him, but he always refused, saying his powers resulted from a type of meditation with an ancient tradition of secrecy. It was only when my brother Lorne was suffering from a serious eye infection that he finally allowed us to film him in 1987.
It was nothing like any acupuncture I'd ever had. I was getting really powerful electric shocks and couldn't control my movements at all.
Yin yang, positive and negative, you know. And my positive from here and my negative from here. And we meet together, this can get like electricity.
And is this because you're special? You have a special sort of body?
Meditation every day.
It's meditation that does it?
Meditation every day. Like you can touch me. Like this, it's nothing, okay? It's my burn. Just like this.
For our sound recordist, it was also a shocker. He then took our newspaper outside and showed us how Qi can also be used to set things on fire. When he heard we'd shown this footage in public, he was very upset and refused all our future efforts to contact him again. As the years passed, we sadly resigned ourselves to never seeing him again, when I again found myself with DJ, now treating me for an eye problem. But it wasn't this that brought me back. He had tracked me down out of the blue and invited me to tell me a story. He had just returned from 2 years on a deep meditational journey, alone in the heart of Borneo. Amongst his revelations, he had seen, he said, how history was moving on into great change, and the old wisdom was vanishing. So he'd called me back to film just enough of him to remind us that we all have undreamed of powers sleeping within us, and that there's nothing special about him except for his training in waking them. Grounding this patient, my cameraman Joe is having to use all his weight to keep contact. She is pushing him away. He seems able to control the amplitude of this chi, like a dimmer switch, and it causes uncontrollable responses in the patients and their grounders.
I can barely keep my hand on you. It wants to fly off, the electricity says.
This chi stuff is only the surface, he says, of the real adventure beneath, in the meditational technique. Projecting chi from the palm of the hand can also be used to resist rifle pellets, he says. First, you learn to distinguish between yin and yang chi in your body. Then how to pool it in your navel chakra. Then how to project it, he says. And it's the proportionate mixture between yin and yang which accounts for different effects, like pulling or pushing objects or igniting them. So I invited a small group of scientists back from the United States with measuring equipment to test if DJ was for real. And if so, where might this energy belong on the electromagnetic spectrum? Catherine Cook, CEO of the Mind Science Foundation in Texas. Dr. Roger Nilsson, a Swedish medic and international racing sailor. Dr. Greg Simpson, a physicist from New York's Albert Einstein University. And Andreas Polak, one of DJ's Australian students. The visitors are confident they'll uncover him as a fraud in no time. Greg is the first guinea pig, and he's uncomfortable about showing that he can feel anything at all. Dr. Roger doesn't know what to expect. Out comes the metal detector, like the things they use in airports, to see if he has any concealed metal in his body. Then the voltmeter, to try and measure the chi. But how to get it to work? Where's the ground? What settings? DJ suggests that as his negative is his perineum and his positive is his navel chakra, perhaps that's where the electrode should be attached. He doesn't stand on his dignity. He's eager to help, but still no readings. They're getting shocks off his arm, and now they're on the right settings, but the needle still isn't moving. DJ says it isn't electricity, it's chi.
It's 1, 2, up, I feel it in my whole body. I feel it at 3, 0.3, I feel it in my legs. Shit.
But suspecting there's some tricky setup on his premises they can't find, they insist we all go to a randomly chosen hotel room several miles away to see if he can light a light bulb with his fingers. It doesn't ground on the wall. So Greg holds and grounds one wire, while DJ pumps chi through the other. The bulbs are LEDs, light-emitting diodes, which ignite in different colors according to the intensity of current.
On, off, on.
Brilliant.
Oh, you're blinking.
Things were going well, DJ was enjoying it too, until he invited us all out to lunch at his local, where he tried to push a chopstick through the table. He couldn't get it through the Formica surface, so he came up through an inch of wood from underneath. Not only did he draw his own blood, but a chopstick splinter had caught Alison here between the eyes, drawing more. The incident was laughed off apologetically, but next morning he was a different man, drawn and upset. He said he'd been visited all night by his long-dead master, raging that he'd broken the strict taboos of his sect, never to show off in public and never to cause harm or draw blood. He felt deeply chastised. All further testing and filming must end. Never again would he submit to public scrutiny, nor accept any new students. He would sink from sight and continue his healing in obscurity, as he had done since before we met him in the early 80s and had always told us.